"Excuse me, sir. There's an issue." Standing behind her, looking both entitled and impatient, was Amelia Hawthorne, a woman in her late 50s, draped in expensive designer clothes, tapping her platinum wristwatch and shifting her gaze between Darnell Harris, the black man seated in 2A, and the seat she clearly considered hers by default. "That's my usual seat," Amelia muttered with an air of superiority, her voice loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. Darnell glanced up, confused. He had done everything by the book, booked early, paid in full, arrived ahead of schedule, and held platinum status, just like any other top-tier customer. Yet here he was, being challenged simply for occupying a seat he had earned. With calm precision, Darnell pulled out his wallet and presented his platinum card. "I'm a platinum member," he said evenly, "and this is my assigned seat." A flicker of surprise broke through the flight attendant's composed smile. Recovering quickly, she added, "Yes, sir, but this seat is usually reserved for a very valued customer." She gestured toward Amelia with an awkward, forced smile. The subtext was obvious. Despite his qualifications, Darnell didn't belong. Passengers around them began to notice. Whispers spread. Phones appeared, recording the interaction discreetly. What the crew didn't realize was that this moment, seemingly minor, would soon ignite a firestorm neither they nor the airline could contain. Because Darnell Harris wasn't just another traveler. At 42, he was the founder and CEO of Horizon Dynamics, a $3 billion tech firm revolutionizing customer experience through ethical AI systems. Ironically, his life's work was centered on eliminating the very kind of discrimination now unfolding before him. Darnell's journey hadn't been easy. Raised in the south side of Chicago, he taught himself programming at age 11 using a battered old laptop he'd scavenged from a junk pile. While others were playing games, he was building them. His father, a school janitor, had been killed in a senseless act of violence when Darnell was 16. At the funeral, Darnell made a vow to build something that mattered, to elevate those who were ignored or dismissed. That promise carried him through college, past investor rejections, and into the relentless work of building a tech empire. Even today, with billions in market valuation and a resume most CEOs could only dream of, Darnell remained humble. Earlier that morning, security footage captured him helping an elderly woman with her bags, holding doors for travelers, and tipping the airport cafe staff with sincere gratitude. His decency wasn't for show, it was who he was. He had chosen seat 2A for the legroom. He planned to fine-tune a keynote address for an international tech ethics conference. The airline Skyreach was known for opulence, first-class seats that converted into beds, custom cuisine, and ticket prices that rivaled rent in expensive cities. Yet beneath the luxury branding, Skyreach was on shaky ground. Its customer satisfaction had dipped, and its outdated systems needed a comprehensive overhaul. Ironically, Horizon Dynamics was one of the finalists to become Skyreach's strategic tech partner, and their CEO was now being asked to vacate a seat he paid for to appease a wealthy white woman. Jessica Bennett, the flight attendant, had been with Skyreach for almost a decade. She knew Amelia Hawthorne by name. Amelia flew often, tipped well, and expected her usual luxuries without challenge. Jessica leaned in slightly toward Darnell, her voice low but insistent. "Sir, MS. Hawthorne is a frequent platinum traveler who always sits here. Could you consider switching to a comparable seat for her comfort?" Darnell looked up from his tablet. "This is my assigned seat. I'm also a platinum member." Amelia crossed her arms, her voice louder now. "I always sit there. It's practically mine." The cabin grew tense. Jessica glanced back and forth between the two. Her professionalism slipping, she suggested, "You might find the other section more comfortable, sir." But Darnell saw through the words. She wasn't offering another first-class seat. She was implying he should downgrade. Without raising his voice, Darnell said, "No, thank you. I specifically booked this seat for the legroom. I have work to do." Jessica's pleasant expression hardened. She turned and walked away briskly. From across the aisle, a passenger caught Amelia subtly slipping folded cash into Jessica's uniform pocket. "Thank you for handling this," Amelia whispered, loud enough for others to hear. Jessica's face reddened as she accepted the bribe. Trevor Langston, the cabin supervisor, soon approached Darnell with a practiced, overconfident gait. "Sir, we'll need you to switch seats to accommodate a VIP." Darnell remained composed. "I've shown my boarding pass and my platinum card. This is my assigned seat." Trevor leaned in, his voice low but audibly condescending. "Perhaps you don't understand how things work at Skirich. We prioritize certain customers' preferences." By now, phones were openly recording. The woman across the aisle angled hers for a clear shot. Amelia sighed theatrically. "I've got a meeting the moment we land." "This is ridiculous." A voice muttered behind Darnell. "Doesn't even look like he belongs up here." Trevor doubled down. "Sir, we can do this the easy way or the hard way." Darnell met his eyes and answered calmly, "I'm not moving. This is my seat." Trevor's face flushed. He turned and stormed to the front of the cabin. Minutes later, the cockpit door opened, and Captain Bradley Yates appeared, flanked by Jessica and Trevor. The three stood over Darnell. "Sir," the captain began, "my crew has discretion over seating assignments. For passenger comfort, we occasionally make adjustments." Darnell replied evenly, "Captain, I paid for this seat. I'm a platinum member. There is no policy requiring me to give up my seat because someone else prefers it." Trevor interrupted, voice laced with authority. "If you don't comply, we'll be forced to remove you." Darnell's brows rose. "For refusing to give up the seat I paid for." Amelia fumed. "I can't believe this. I've never been treated this way." Captain Yates leaned closer. "Final warning, sir. Move seats or face removal." Darnell pulled out his phone and began recording. "I'm documenting this. I'm being threatened for not giving up my assigned seat." Trevor reached toward the phone. "Recording isn't allowed." Darnell pulled it back. "Actually, federal regulations permit recording unless it interferes with safety. I'm within my rights." Moments later, 2 airport security officers boarded. The silence was deafening. "Sir, we need you to disembark," one said. "Please comply." "What policy have I violated?" Darnell asked. The officers hesitated. "Just follow us, please." Darnell stood, gathered his things, and made his way to the exit. As he passed Trevor, Amelia slipped another bill into Trevor's pocket. "Thanks for keeping first class consistent," she whispered. Outside, Darnell immediately contacted his COO, Candace Lee. "They removed me. Call the legal team. This is going to be dealt with." As he waited, a young woman approached. "I recorded everything, from the first request to your removal. I caught her bribing the staff, too." Darnell thanked her and took her contact info. The video would soon go viral. Inside the cabin, Amelia reclined in 2A, sipping champagne. Jessica and Trevor exchanged smug glances, unaware of the storm brewing. But an urgent crew announcement changed their tone. They were summoned for an emergency debriefing. At Skirich's corporate HQ, CEO Anthony Delgado watched the video. "Is that Darnell Harris?" The PR director nodded grimly. "He's also the CEO of Horizon Dynamics." Delgado paled. Horizon Dynamics held a 25% stake in Skirich and was their top contender for a tech partnership. Soon after, Delgado received a call. "Mr. Delgado," said Darnell, "I'm calling an emergency shareholder meeting." By that evening, board members packed into the executive boardroom. Darnell entered, flanked by Candace and 2 legal advisors. Delgado cued the video. The room watched in stunned silence. "I'm not here for apologies," Darnell said. "I have 2 demands. Immediate termination of all involved and withdrawal from our $50 million partnership talks." Delgado stammered. "Perhaps suspensions." "No. Full accountability, or I divest now." Before anyone could reply, a young analyst burst in. "Stocks down 12%, forecasting a 30% drop by market close." Delgado sighed. He knew the choice had already been made. In a cold room downstairs, Jessica, Trevor, and Captain Yates were handed termination papers. Jessica sobbed. Trevor raged. Yates went pale. But the evidence was irrefutable. That same day, Skirich grounded all flights for 48 hours. Every employee was ordered into mandatory bias training, created by Horizon Dynamics. Marcus personally addressed the staff. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about making sure this never happens to anyone else." The company transformed, inside and out. For the first time in its history, Skiri chose accountability over image. And for the passengers of Flight 227, what began as a seat dispute ended as a lesson for an entire industry. Discrimination doesn't fly not anymore.